I want to show some love to this content creator. I am Richard, right here, right here, right here. You got it, right here. Go to his channel. You can review the video, but this video is about, basically the unemployment rate, how it's just out of hand. Let's talk about it.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and she said she came across this guy. He's a military veteran in his 60s, I believe. And she said, this is a dude who's always kept a job, some sort of job, his entire life, served in the military. And she said this man told her that out of his whole entire life, this is the longest period he's gone without work. He said the longest he's ever gone without work since leaving the military was 1 month, bro. He said he's looked everywhere. This ain't one of them picky people. That's too good for a job. Now he'll work now. He'll do anything for some money. Brother say he been applying to Wendy's, McDonald's, Walmart, the gas station. He said he even tried signing up for DoorDash. DoorDash is booked. Because if you don't know, before getting on DoorDash, you got to get on the waiting list. And sometimes, that could be a long time, bro, He says he's looked everywhere, no work available. And he's been out of work for months. This is somebody who got bills and things of that nature to pay. Been working his whole life, willing and able-bodied worker, still in his 60s, still healthy enough to work. But ain't no work out there.
I find it kind of odd how there are more unemployed people than there are jobs today. It bothers me because when you kind of look at all the people that are looking for jobs today, you kind of realize and understand why people are having a lot of frustration today. I watched a clip today of this young dude, and he was talking about how he's been unemployed for several months. And I realized that when you look in the comment section, you got people literally saying that they put out hundreds of applications, or should I say online resumes. Even though I'm realizing now it's inevitable, like you already know from the hiring process, that people been on TikTok talking about their hiring process. They've been seeing hundreds of applicants, but they've been overlooking the ones that do qualify because they have to narrow it down to maybe one, two, sometimes even five. And they got hundreds. So when you kind of look at that, you understand that we are definitely in a different world right now. We're in a different atmosphere, whereas though the job market is so horrible right now. It's making you kind of second guess where is your place? Is your place in the States? Because it's starting to look like now, like people don't really understand what's going on. I've never seen this in my life. I'm 45. Hey, if you can tell me, have you ever seen this happen before? I get it. We had the bubble before 2008. I was young, but at the same time, I still don't recall people being this unemployed because I graduated the class of 98. When I graduated the class of 98, I was able to get a job and I had multiple jobs. I was holding down two jobs, part-time job at, I think, UPS. And then I had my main job. So I know what it's like to work. I know what it's like to get out there and hustle hard and make my money. I also know what it's like to go broke, but I also know what it's like to stay in the house. But what you're starting to see now, things are starting to be a little bit more confusing now. I hate it when people talk about what happened in 2008 compared to now. There's nowhere near now. For one, things are overly priced. You can't afford the homes today. And if you do buy the home, you got to worry about the overhead costs because the mortgages used to stay the same. They're not staying the same now. Trust and believe me, this apartment that I purchased years ago, the mortgage done changed this year. And it was fixed. They're changing the interest rate. It's not that the mortgage is actually changing, but realistically, it is changing because if they change the interest rate due to the economy, I thought they weren't able to do that. Hey, at the end of the day, it seemed like we in the world of whereas though nothing is yours. You can still buy, even though they pressing people to rent more and more. So can work all their life and never own nothing. But when you do own something, they try to price you out of owning what you own. But realistically, you still never really own it. Because at the end of the day, when things are paid off, let the taxes slip. Your home is going. You know, then you got the cars today. When you look at the cars today, you look at how the affordability of cars, and when you look at that, how you try to afford a car, you look at the maintenance on it. The maintenance is damn near as much as the damn car note, sometimes even more on these maintenance. But I get it, take give or take if the car is a pretty reasonable car or whatnot. But if it's an expensive car, the maintenance can hit you over the head for damn near 2 or 3 car notes just in 1 month. You know what I mean? Take it from me. BMWs, very expensive. Range Rovers, they're going to cripple you. Benz, you might as well sell your left kidney or your nuts. Whatever you got to do out here to survive, you going to have to start to mimic being broke. I don't know why you have to think like that, but you have to. Because I'm going to be realistic with you. When you live a life of and you showboat, you show people all the things you got today, and people are out here struggling, they don't have a job, they start to look at people and they prey on not the people that everybody that doesn't have a job. But I'm saying, think about it. That's how it starts. Once a person gets to a point where they're hungry, it's a lot of times it's nature. It's like nature. People want survival. When people are when people go in survival mode, they think about their kids. They think about their family. They get to a point where as though if they about to lose their home, they to a point where as though they about to be homeless. People start to resort to the worst things. And no offense, at the end of the day, it's wrong. But you never know what kind of mindset you will go in once you get down to the point where as though you about to lose it all. And all you can think of, my kid, my daughter, my son cannot be on the street. I can't be homeless. Think about it. We have the most crime today. We have the most unemployed. When you look at majority of the people that are unemployed today, they're steady. You're seeing people with unemployment. Unemployment is not going to take you over the hump to be able to go forward in life. It won't. It keep you stagnated because that's still not enough money. It's still not as much money as you was getting when you was working your full-time job. So if you put yourself out there and you go look for another full-time job and you can't land another full-time job, what does that tell you right there? That lets you know right then and there, this economy is basically played against you. Because with this economy, when you kind of look at it, it's like the bouncing effect. Like once you go from one job, you bounce to the next job. Eventually, there come a time where so it's like, damn, now I can't find a job. And the problem is when people can't find a job, we where we at now. Now we have people now looking at the economy like, yo, I don't feel like it's worth it no more. So when you're seeing all the things that's happening today, especially in the cities, the big cities, you look at Philly, I think about California, you're seeing it in California, you're seeing it in Chicago. People are literally running in a Rolex store. They run in a Rolex store in Chicago. You think about Philly, they have areas that people normally don't commit crimes in. Well, Center City now got crimes. You know, people are hitting people in the areas that's not used to crime. They're now hitting these areas because they're going where the money is at. That's why unemployment has a lot to do with the crime rate. I get it that if you do have a job, you might look at it and say, wait a minute, if I can get a job, let me stop you there. If you have that mentality to say, if you got this, or if you got that, if you work hard for that, if you did this, this is where you lost at. You, me too. But I'm also not stupid. I also know that got some people out here that's dealt with a deck of cards that is not a game they're gonna be able to win. And the reason why I say that is because I know a lot of times people do make mistakes when they're younger. But the problem with when you make mistakes when you're younger, it carries on to in your adulthood to the point where so now you got a record, you can't land a good job, and then what happens? It leads them down the road of robberies or they hustling on the block. They doing all type of things. And then next thing you know, when they get caught up, they get released, come back out. You can't keep them people in for life. I get it that when things are committed, crimes are committed, don't give a take. When somebody do some shit to me, I'm ready to go. I want to go all the way there with them. But at the same time, I also get what's going on today. They're crippling the economy. They're crippling people. They're making people feel as though if you can't find a job, we rely on government. But what happens is government just give you just a little bit of crumbs just to keep you stagnated and say, oh, they working for us. But then they keep you voting the same way, whatever how you want to look at it. But you see the way the economy is. No matter how we look at it, we thought that the president that we have right now was going to change something. Well, it looks as though that people are still in the same predicament, damn near what they were before the economy went to shits. But it was already going to shits already in the last administration. So the new administration got handed over what last administration did, and then now it's worse. So who's winning? Nobody. Everybody is playing on everybody. Don't think that Democrats and Republicans are not playing on both. They playing on both. When you look at anybody in Congress, I'm tired of hearing you voted for this, you voted for this. Well, guess what? I could have voted Democrat, or I could have voted Republican. What was going to change? Did something change the last administration? No. Did something change this administration? No. What it did do was get worse in the job economy. But don't forget, last administration, it was already going down. Already, prices were extremely high. Now, this time, this administration, they hit with tariffs. They make the tariffs into something of a tug of war. Like, we're going to play this game, and you're going to play this game with us. I'm going to overcharge you because you've been overcharging her. It's the game. It's a game. A game that they plan on everybody here that's in the public. And this is the one thing that makes the world sad, because when you play on people this way, people end up getting to a point where as though they're looking at their life and they say, wait a minute, if I can't survive out here having a job because jobs are not hiring, what good am I? You basically get to a point in your life where as though you're starting to see many people give up on life. And when they start to give up on life, you start to have more casualties. You start to have more anxiety. You start to have a rise and people unaliving themselves. You start having a rise of people being more hateful, not giving a damn. Can you blame them? If you had nothing to wake up to, it's easy to say what you will pray for or what you looking forward to. But one thing you're not looking forward to, being on the streets by the next week or in a couple days, because the sheriff is coming to get you out of that apartment or house. If you're not looking forward to that, you really can't put yourself in other people's shoes. Well, the only thing I can say is, hopefully, for the best, people can find that way. But we all know we in an era now where so everybody can't find that way. It's one of the reasons why you're seeing a rise in people living inside their cars. I'm gonna say this: I take my hat off to the ones that's suffering, that's going through it, trying to figure it out. But at the same time, you trying to figure it out, hopefully you can find your way in your path. But at the same time, I hopefully, you do not give up on life. Because if you give up on life, you'll never understand what it's like to actually make it and get over those hurdles in order to see the light. All right? Peace and be safe. Like and subscribe.